All right, guys. So Emma Watson is making the news. Essentially, I think she tweeted out a picture of of us. This is the picture she tweeted out. Solidarity is a verb, and the picture is pro-Palestinian, and she is being called an anti-Semite by Israel's UN envoy. Oh, it's on Instagram. Actually, it was on Instagram. Okay, so here's my thoughts on this. Okay, because real people keep it real 110% of the time. I will give a thumbs up to Emma Watson for being fair-minded about this. Obviously, the whole situation with Israel and Palestine is very complex. All right, and Jewish people have gone out of the way to in countries such as America to shed a positive light on their side versus how they treat the Palestinians. All right, it's an apartheid state. It's a fact. It's an apartheid state. It's a fact that whole area belonged to the Palestinians before the English kind of cut out a huge part of it and settled white Jewish people in that area. And I will say this, that over the last couple of years, it's social media has pretty much given a voice to everybody as far as looking at things in a fair way. All right, we're not talking about where pre-2017, where the mainstream media pretty much just told you what to think, and you pretty much accepted that as fact. Because here's the thing about it. There was a time where I didn't know anything about the whole Palestinian, Jewish, Israel, Palestine situation. All right, from everything I've seen, movies, TV shows, etc., etc., it was always Jewish, good. If there was like a little conflict between Jews and everybody else, Jewish good, and everybody else bad. Or whatever whatever the conflict it is that they, that's in a scene or a movie or whatever. Okay, it wasn't until CNN actually actually showed a breakdown of the occurrence of how Palestine was cut out and given to the Jews, that they gave out like a timeline of what happened. At some point of watching that timeline, I was like, why are the Jews the good guys in everything I've watched in America, yet what it looks like, the whole history is they stole somebody else's land, right? They stole somebody else's land. It's a fact. Now, if you say anything against that, you're an anti-Semite, which is what he's calling Emma Watson. And I actually have an issue with that too. Anti-Semite card is a Jewish race card. All right, it's a Jewish race card. Anything that's negative, you could say you hate matzah ball soup. That's anti-Semitic. You can say, you don't like the way Jewish people dress, or the fact that Jewish women wear wigs if they're married or something like that. You're an anti-Semite. You could have like any kind of the smallest negative comment about Jewish culture, the faith. You're an anti-Semite. All right, like that's what's been happening with the blacks over the last 25 years. You say anything negative about black people, which they don't at this point, right? All the jokes are either positive stereotypes or neutral stereotypes. They're never negative stereotypes. All right, and what they've done is made Jewish people and black people protective groups in this country, and I don't think that that should exist. All right, for the last 25 years, the Jews and the blacks got together and decided they wanted to be considered a protective group where you can't actually say anything negative about them, or you're an anti-Semite, or you're racist. And it's always been wrong. You know, if you have an anti-Semite card, all right, give everybody else their card. Give white people the anti-Caucasian card. Give Asians the anti-Asian card. Give Latino the anti-Latino card. And especially give Native Americans the anti-Native card. If anybody deserves a card for a free ride, they do. But they don't. So, I want to give Emma Watson a thumbs up, because if you think logically, now I don't have a thing against Jewish or black people. I just think that everybody should look at things as fairly as possible and come to that conclusion. Everything should be based on merit. Everything should be looked at with as much neutrality as you can look at it. All right. And I think Emma Watson deserve a hand for being as neutral as she can about the situation, yet looking at it in the fairest way possible and saying, you know what, there are victims here. All right, there's a right and there's a wrong. You know, leave out the politics out of this. You know, she probably want to say, you know, the Jews, you know, I are good people. The Palestinians are good people. But if I had to be fair about making an assessment of what's been happening with the whole Palestine situation, I will say that I'm going to be as fair as possible in this situation. Like, if you actually looked at this like you looked at a law case and you had to make a decision as to who's on the right and who's on the wrong, obviously the Palestinians have lived there for the entirety of their existence, I think. I don't know about anything about Palestinian history. I'm not gonna make like any kind of call on whose religion is better than whose, and whose religion has better good people than whose. But I mean, if I had to be honest about Muslims and Jews, I will tell you guys this: circumcision is a hate crime against humanity. That's what I'm saying. Circumcision is a hate crime against humanity, and both those religions have religious dogmas where you know everybody's got to get all the males have to get circumcised. But anyway, I'm getting off track here. Kudos to Emma Watson. I mean, it's a complicated matter. I'm not trying to pick sides, but just laying out the facts, I gotta say that she is, you know, she's correct. I know the Jews have had a history of being oppressed, of being put in ghettos, history of governmental violence against them, I guess. But it still doesn't make taking somebody's land away, you know, putting up a war and just stealing their land, something that should be, you know, tolerated or accepted or made right just because you were a victim. It's just not the way that should be.